What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bill's World. I'm Justus General Rafford, and I'm here as always with the Legend in Two Games Championship coach, Muki Hawkins, in the building. What's going on, Muki? What's going on with you, man?
Well, it's the Bills bye week, so I guess it's some things to talk about a little bit. But Bills didn't play today, so we got a chance to watch all the competition, and so pretty chill Sunday.
Yep, chill Sunday. We pretty much got to watch every AFC team that is a contender win, just about. Didn't help us too much in the standings, but we know that we still control our own destiny. And if the Bills do what they're supposed to do, then, we should be in comfortable position going into the postseason. But a lot of craziness around the league today. I'm going to start off. I want to ask you a question. Another week has gone by. We are now a few days removed. We're now officially a week removed from the loss in Atlanta.
Okay.
That's 2 consecutive losses. That is arguably 6 consecutive games where the offense looks subpar. The defense hasn't looked great. Granted, the defense is injured, and the offense didn't have Don Kincaid, and all of these things that can be seen as a reason why they haven't been able to perform up to snuff. But are you concerned that there hasn't been a move yet in any capacity, whether that be trade, firing, signing, or anything?
Well, no, it's too early for that. The Bills always like to wait to end the things, and I think it's just too early. We'll dive into that as we get into the show, but I definitely want to break down an overview of basically the first 6 weeks of this Bills season so far. Let's dive a little bit into what have been the Bills' strengths over the past 6 weeks, and what needs to be fixed. So let me just start off with you, Justus. Let's start off with talking about the offense. What do you think the offense strengths has been so far?
Well, I mean, in any capacity, a Buffalo Bills offensive strength is going to be Josh Allen. But this particular iteration of the team, the strength is more contingent upon the run game to set things up. The offensive line is.
I'll just go on and say it. It's James Cook, man. You like you scared to say James Cook. You want to say the run game. You said Josh Allen.
I don't necessarily.
You ain't say pass again. You said Josh Allen. You might as well go ahead and just say James Cook.
Because I don't think it's James Cook in a nutshell. I was going to give him his props. I'm not.
I mean, he's the only thing that's been happening in the run game.
Hold on. Let me finish my thought. What I was going to say was that the offensive line has been extremely good for the last couple of seasons. They didn't look great in Atlanta, but they have been an extremely consistent part of the offense. And like you mentioned, James Cook has been all pro this season for sure, at least in consideration of it. Or coming into this week, he was second in the league in rushing, and he hasn't even been used to his full potential. He's off the field far more than he should be. We haven't got to see him receiving out of the backfield as much as
we're just talking about the strengths, man. We're talking about the strengths.
I know. I'm talking about the offensive strength, James Cook. I'm talking about one of the things that could make this offense better,
but we're not talking about how to fix it right now. We're talking about just the strengths. Let's stick to the strengths.
Would you not say that James Cook receiving out of the backfield is a strength?
Yeah, but we just talking James Cook in general. Like no matter what, it's just been James Cook, whether he's catching the ball or running the ball.
Right, but I'm just going into it. I'm just going into it. But you could go ahead and give your salute.
I mean, that's just a strength. We talking just strictly strengths. And yes, James Cook has been, primarily the strength of this Bills offense the first 6 games. I mean, it's quite evident once you saw in the last 2 games when, James Cook isn't productive, we see the outcome offensively. So yes, definitely James Cook has been a strength. I mean, you could throw Dalton Kincaid in there, as a strength, leading the team in receiving yards so far. So you can say those are some of the strengths. I mean, Josh Allen has been rather consistent too, so let's not just, say that Josh Allen is not a strength on his offense. He's definitely a strength on his offense. It's just that James Cook has emerged and more of the focal point of this offense. The first 6 games, it's quite evident that, the major strength, this team goes how James Cook goes in these first 6 games. So, now I would ask you this: how would you fix what needs to be fixed on this Bills offense?
The creativity, and I don't think that I don't think the Bills, how it's structured, necessarily has a ton of weaknesses. I think that if you had a number 1 receiver, it would be obviously better. A true number 1 receiver, that is one way to fix it. But I think ultimately you could get away with the talent that you have on this roster. But I just think that the creativity in the offensive play calling is just so mundane. It doesn't lend to any misdirection. It doesn't, they don't utilize the play action as well as they should. Crossers, they don't have very many, they don't know how to do man beaters very efficiently. I'll say that. They can't run a screenplay. I mean, it's just lack of efficiency, lack of effectiveness, lack of execution. And I mean, that starts, in my opinion, with the coordinator. And so that's kind of been my biggest issue, is just like, you got Josh Allen, you got James Cook, a great offensive line. With that alone, you should be able to put up a lot of offense, and just Khalil Shakir and Dawson Knox just to boot. Like, you got talent, they just can't seem to get their best guys the ball.
Yeah, and I can agree with you more on that. The creativity and the design. I mean, even scheming up your star players more. Like, get those guys involved. You watch this Sunday night game right now. You see Christian McCaffrey is getting the ball, offense, defensive wise. You see Atlanta, Bijan Robinson catching and passing the ball. You don't see, their third and second string guy in there, being focal points to a degree where James Cook only be on the field on first down. Second down, Ray Davis come in and he gets the ball. Like when Ray Davis and Ty Johnson are in at times, offensively, it's kind of predictable. It's kind of hard to move the ball that way. I did ask Joe Brady, when teams get book on you, how do you adjust to make sure you keep being successful at the things you've been good at? And, that's kind of been the deal these past couple of games. Teams getting book on you, and they're not letting James Cook, just slice and dice in between the tackles. And, they are playing basically, man, and daring the Bills to throw the ball down the field. And it's kind of shameful that, that teams do that when you got a quarterback like Josh Allen, pretty much one of the strongest arms in the league, and we're not throwing the ball downfield. We're not taking enough shots. Now, the Bills do have explosive weapons. It's just not enough explosive play. So, you need to see more explosive plays. I've been saying that, all the way since training camp, that they need to throw the ball a little bit more down the field. It's the NFL. It's more entertaining, when you can, have Josh Allen going deep. Coming out of college again, Josh Allen had this bazooka of an arm, and we do not throw deep. And I don't want to say that I'm over it, that they say that we don't have the receivers to go blow the top off. You actually do. You got Elijah Moore, who's a fast guy. You got Curtis Samuel when healthy. He can blow the top off. That's not even really an excuse. If you can get open, if you can make a play, make a play. Mac Hollins ran 4.6, and they was throwing the ball down the field to Mac Hollins quite fine last year. So, I think it's just more of, getting the matchup that you want and dial it up. For some strange instances, even with Keon Coleman and how he's being used, I don't think he's being used to his strong suits, to where, where he was coming out of Michigan State, coming out of Florida State. I don't see that in Brady's scheme of things. I think they're trying to more or less make him into a more polished, refined wide receiver, and that's just not, you know, Keon Coleman's strong suit. Throwing back shoulder passes to Keon Coleman is not a strong suit. Throw the ball up to Keon Coleman as high as you can get it. He has a 40-inch vertical. Hey, if he falls on his head, I'm quite sure he's used to, you know, bracing himself for those type of falls. You have to, you know, reestablish, you know, that chemistry and that timing with him, and, you know, throw the ball up instead of being precise back shoulder throws. You had that in Stephon Diggs. You had that in a Joshua Palmer. Keon Coleman is a much different receiver. So, I mean, he's still second on the team in receptions, but I would like to see him being utilized a little bit more to his strong suits rather than, I guess, what the scheme of things call for. You know, and sometimes, hey, you move him around to make plays. Don't just keep him on the outside. I just think that offensively, you know, everybody just can't eat when the game on the line, when the game is on the line, and then everybody can't eat when you don't have enough food to feed them. So you need to basically let your dogs eat first, and, you know, get games out of reach, get games under control, and then you can start filtering other guys. I think, you know, these past couple games, when guys establish rhythm, you know, Brady hasn't been going back with that. He doesn't stick with what works. He doesn't stick with what got them there. He doesn't stick to what made them 4-0 the first 4 games of the season. And, you know, it shows. So, you know, I definitely want to see something like that fixed offensively. Get your star players the ball more so they can make plays for your star quarterback.
I would agree. I would agree with all of that. The only thing I would push back on is the Keon Coleman thing. I don't love the way Joe Brady uses anybody, particularly on this offense outside of James Cook. And I don't even like the way he uses James Cook to a degree, because I feel like James Cook could be used as a major decoy. Anytime James Cook is in the backfield, he's getting the football. That's like 90% of the time. They rarely do play action with him. So I don't. My point is, I'll get back to that. My point is that I think Keon Coleman I just need him to be better. I mean, there's been jump balls that he hasn't come down with. One of the things coming out of college, one of the reasons that it was reported that Josh was to like Keon Coleman was because of his body contortion, the way he can control his body in midair, the way he can turn, and the way he can win jump balls. And these are things like Josh is giving him opportunities that he just hasn't come down with.
I don't know about that. What opportunities are we talking about? I didn't see just clear cut.
Seen multiple back passes Coleman should be able to come down with it. He has not come down with.
Where?
Keon Coleman. I'll pull up the tape. I've seen slant passes that Keon.
There's been some drops. There's been some drops. I get that.
I'm not crucifying Keon Coleman here. I'm just saying that there is what we were. Let me say a dream we were sold about what Keon Coleman is or how he operates, and when they put him in those positions, he has. There's more times than not he hasn't come away with a catch.
He's second on the team in receptions, but my thing is this, Justus, like the plays that you saw in preseason are not the same plays that you see here. Like there were more to outside the sideline. They don't even take shots. Like Keon Coleman is a red zone threat. Like whenever you get inside that 40-yard line, I don't even see Keon Coleman being isolated. You just taking a shot where it's just a one-on-one 50-50 ball. I mean, Josh has to do a better job of ball location with Keon Coleman, too. Just because he's throwing it in his vicinity, he's not throwing it to his catch radius. So, you know, it's been some drops by Keon Coleman. I can't contest that. And I'm not just like defending him wholeheartedly, but I'm just saying when a guy's that athletic, you should be placing the ball to where only he can get it in midair. All right. He has a 40-inch vertical. That's not being utilized right. You should not be throwing Keon Coleman back shoulder throws. That is not his strong suit. All right. You know, that's something you need to develop into him. You need to play him more to his strong suits, even throw some stand-ups to him. I mean, he showed you ability coming out of college, returning punts and doing that very thing at Michigan State, at Florida State. So I would just play him to a strong suit, something that he's more comfortable in, and you'll see a more confident and productive wide receiver. You know, the separation piece, you have receivers that can do that on this team as well.
Well, we have a very special guest who is in the booth with us right now. Kentucky's very own Buffalo Bills legend, one of the best receivers in the history of this franchise, and a really, really cool dude. If you meet him in person, he's really, really dope to hang out with. So it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Why So Serious. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, good to be on with the family, man. It's been some time. And it's appropriate now on the bye week, having a good time, man. We done seen a lot from our BillsWRLD, which is good. You know, they're giving us a lot to talk about. Good, bad, everything. I think everything's hitting at the right time though for this bye week for the boys. How y'all?
So we just talking about the offense right now. We kind of went over the strengths and the opportunities that the offense could provide. What are some of your thoughts on the strengths of what the Joe Brady's offense is, and some of the limitations as well?
Yeah, I mean the strengths is the versatility that the team has overall, which was built from the front office, and putting pieces around our reigning MVP. So the pieces is a strength. Even the Coach Brady is a strength because he's a creative mind. If there's anybody that you would want to have a team like this, then it would be you would choose Brady if it was a list of them. And then when you talk about the team, depth at each position, there is depth at each position. Now the strength is kind of our weakness because we got so many pieces. Maybe it made that coordinator feel like, okay, let me execute this for this and this, as opposed to just letting it flow, and I think we've seen a lot of both sides during the season. So we've seen what worked and what doesn't work, and we'll see how they carry on.
One of Muki's favorite sayings is, or one of his favorite things to say is that everybody eats isn't working the way it should, right? Or I don't think he's a fan of everybody eats at all, honestly. He says, let the dogs eat and then let the pups eat the scraps, right? So you want your best players out there gaining the lead, and then once your defense is able to get a takeaway or get after the quarterback, whatever the case may be, then you can start incorporating other members of the offense to be able to do some damage. What would your thoughts be on that? Like, and if that were true for you, who are those dogs that you would consider?
Okay, so everybody eats. It's tempo. Everybody eats means you moving at a tempo like fast food. You can dish it out here, you can dish it out there, get it to a running back, and it's not long developing. That's what everybody eats means. That's the basis around it. You can't sit back there in a 5-step drop and then wait for plays to develop, and then maybe you get it off to that one person. The time, it doesn't add up for everybody to eat. It don't make sense. So, you got to have the right offense for that, which we do have, actually. We can do all types of offenses. Okay, now to answer the question, well, who are the dogs and who should be getting the ball, and then letting the scraps go to those who need to build up, obviously is Khalil Shakir in a passing game, and James Cook. Obviously, James Cook out the backfield anywhere. Those are the main two. And then from everything else from there is on who you're comfortable with. That's where you can throw in the tight ends with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, all that. But your first thoughts should be either Cook or looking at Khalil and wearing them out. You got to start making these guys sweat. I don't think any of our playmakers are sweating after the game, and we'll see what they do after this bye week because we're calling for it. And I know they're listening. They listen to the culture. They listen to the community.
So I don't want to put you in a compromising position, Stevie, but Coach, I do got a question for you. We got a lot of comments, and it's a pretty consistent thing.
First off, in the comments, when y'all comment, y'all got a hashtag BFBN. All right, we're doing Q&A. We need y'all to hashtag BFBN. We appreciate everybody that's tuning in.
For sure. A consistent theme in the comments is that Mr. Brady maybe shouldn't be calling plays. I'm gonna put that in as the nicest way.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's his job. You know, he's who else gonna call the plays? Is the head coach?
Okay, all right. So let me make it a little more. They're saying he should be fired.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know, because when you're doing good, like he's going to get a head coaching job. So I mean, it's fair. It's fair to talk about this during a bad time. It's only going to hold him accountable internally, and it's going to make him better. You know, we know the type of coach that he is and what he can bring. You know, he's going through the fire right now, just like the Kansas City Chiefs went through the fire, just like the Philadelphia Eagles going through the fire. Bills are also, you know, so it's a part of the league and why it's balanced right now.
Yeah, he's still going through growing pains. This is really like what really, if you look at the half year he had, the full year last year, and basically going to this, let's just say 2 years that he's been under the helm. There's still a lot of growing pains that comes along with that. I mean, and really. He hasn't really evolved as a true play caller. All right. So, I mean, you got to give him that. But, how our Bills Mafia is, man, you can get in that doghouse a little bit, once they don't see, what they want to see. And, right now they ain't seeing it. And I can agree, so some things that he do have to evolve as a play caller, especially dealing with all the weapons that he do have. So it's a good time. It's just during the bye week. He can, get with the guys and try to figure out, what are the solutions and how we can make this team play a little bit more consistent. That's what it's all about, consistency with this offense. And once they get to clicking, it's going to help out the defense.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an easy fix, I see, because first of all, you did a great interview with Coach Brady. That was excellent. You got straight to the point with it, and he got to speak his piece. And what I heard from that is he was trying to help the guys out more than, trying to stop them in a sense. He was trying to, in his mind, I'm taking something off of James Cook play so that he can be more rested, and we put some on Ty. We want to give something to, and that's cool. That's cool. Now that he understands he don't have to look out for these pros and these dogs, just let them go. I think we're going to see a great offense flowing back to 30 points a game. And you got to think we were scoring 30 points a game, and those wasn't really full games when you look back at it, So Joshua get that edge back. You got to take that into account that he was in the season of I'm trying to get my first MVP, along with trying to get to the Super Bowl, but he had a different edge, and I think this was a couple slaps in the face and a wake up call for everybody, and I think it's going to be beneficial for the Bills, to be honest.
You know what? I can appreciate that perspective. My concern, or I guess worry, will come where this is kind of the third straight season where we've had a mid-season offensive slump, right? First season resulted in the firing of Ken Dorsey. Second season, we kind of fixed it. Then you traded for Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper didn't do a ton, but he was super reliable, right? Made a ton of big plays at really, really important times. And then obviously we go on to make a deep playoff run. So this is now where, a couple cycles ago, this is where they fired Ken Dorsey, but you don't have, or I don't know if you have a Joe Brady in the building to come in and take over. But you know what? I can appreciate maybe he was just trying to do a little too much, and, you're going to get back to the dogs. And maybe we'll see back to the 30, 40-point games. But there's another side of the ball, gentlemen. All right. A lot of injuries. So you do have to take these analysis with a grain of salt. But the defense, Coach, what's the strengths to the defense?
I'm gonna say right now, I mean, when you look at the numbers, the passing defense, they're ranked 4 against the pass. They only give up like 167 yards on the ground. When you really look at this Bills defense, and you look at, the problems that they are facing on the back end, with the safety situation, with the corner situation, they still only give up 167, yards. So that's, that's the bright spot when you look at everything else. And I can say Deion Walker. All right. Deion Walker to me has really been the strength of this Buffalo Bills defensive line in only 6 short games. All right. And, once he gets really in his real groove, I mean, again, Bill Bean got a steal in that guy, 4 tackles for loss in that Atlanta game. But, when he did have those growing pains at time, it just cost the Bills big, like that 81-yard touchdown pass. So it was like, well, damn, when he gave you the flashes of a top rookie defensive player, and then he showed you rookie, mistakes that really cost the Bills at the wrong time in that game. So I do believe that once he get going, and everybody get healthy, that this Bills team can get going. But so far, pass defense and Deion Walker has been the strength of this Bills defense in my eyes.
Yeah, for me, Coach, I'm gonna say I like the relentlessness of the defense. Like, think about what they've gone through already. They've gone against a 100% healthy Hall of Fame in the future, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, week 1. And then they go into a running attack with the Jets. You playing against all of these teams, all these great running teams. The Dolphins got a versatile back out the backfield, and they've held up. Like Coach saying, still 4th in the league with stopping the pass. Yeah, it looked ugly with Drake London. That's here and there. I think they'll fix that also. But they're relentless. Every time they give up a run or they get hit, they still coming downhill, and that's what I like about it. And in the past, you would see guys either just running past them, taking bad angles, and not even being able to make an attempt to make a tackle. So that's what I really like about the defense. They still fighting, and Coach Babbage is changing things up. He's not calling the same defense. One thing I would like to see them change up is put the money man on the money man. And when I say that, that's DBs. I'm calling out the DBs. Christian Benford is our top paid DB. He needs to follow and travel against all the other number 1 teams and get physical. I think we need to do more of that. And I think we'll be fine. Opposed from all of the injuries, but you look around the league, everybody's getting banged up and injured. Good thing that we do have depth, but I'm hats off to them boys because they continue to bring it every time.
Yeah, they are severely injured. I mean, injuries in every level. We haven't even seen our first round cornerback step on the field yet. And yet they are, relentless in the sense that they are opportunistic as hell. They get turnovers at important crucial times. And I think healthy, this defense is super opportunistic and can potentially, keep us or win us a playoff game or with that. Like I look at the Atlanta game, down 7 or whatever it was, and Michael Penix throws basically a pick 6 to Shaq Thompson, and he dropped it.
Yes.
I don't think Terrell Bernard or Matt Milano dropped that. But although shout out to Shaq Thompson because he been balling. I don't want to take anything away from him. He's come in a crucial spot and been able to give us valuable minutes. So shout out to him. But I think that one of our top guys catches that and takes it to the house. And that creates a Lamar Jackson pick 6 for 101 Teron Johnson type of play, or a Ed Oliver punching out the ball, or Derrick Henry type of, what I mean? That would have been one of those. And we have so many of those because the defense is so opportunistic. Exactly. And I think healthy, they would get back to that. So
exactly. Very disciplined team. Absolutely. Hey, Jess, I want to ask you brought up our rookie. Do you believe he should play this year?
Hell yeah! What?
What? No, I don't think so.
So hear me out.
He should play.
If you told me that he was healthy in like week 6 or 7, and you kept him out to like week 11 or 12, I would understand, right? But the thing about why we always lose in the playoffs is because we don't have a guy that can always match up with the corners. I think Christian Benford can be that guy, but I also think that we drafted a first-round cornerback for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I think I want him in those moments, if not anything else, to get experience in those moments where you got to go up against Travis Kelce, you know what I mean? Where you got to go up against, hopefully, A.J. Brown, or you know what I'm saying? Where you got to see those guys in those big moments. So I want him to get that experience this year so he don't have to get it next year.
I like that. Coach, you about to say something, Don Mook?
Yeah. You may see Matt Max around, I say, week 12. Anywhere between week 10 and week 12, you'll start hearing some Mad Max chatter. Because, I mean, obviously, when you look at it, he is kind of like that missing piece, that speed guy that could run, with those top flight receivers. They haven't had that out there. So, they really is missing that component. And, with 4.28 speed, and you could play zone and man press, that is something that obviously that the Bills defense was transitioning to, but you never really seen it materialize. due to the injury. So, once you get guys that can play man and can run it and help the defensive line out a little bit more, because now, quarterbacks can't you take away that one, and it's timing, they give defense enough time to get to the quarterback. So, a good balance of rushing coverage, with more guys that can cover on the perimeter. And let's not forget Dorian Strong, right? Look how much of an impact that he was able to provide filling in for Max Harrison. He goes down, right? So you got two rookies that's coming in with injuries, but if healthy, who's to say, what this Bills defense will be actually looking like, when healthy. So they just gotta, get to the ball. I mean, they're dead last in takeaways. I mean, well, not dead last. They 18th in takeaways, -1. They only have 5 takeaways on the season. Last year they were, flying around, getting to the ball, sacks, creating turnovers. They gotta do that a little bit more. And I did ask
Coach, real quick, are they 18th in turnovers or turnover differential?
The
offense has been turning the ball over a lot more.
Differential. They're 18th.
So that's also incumbent on the offense need to be better protected.
Yeah, 6 turnovers to 5 takeaways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that definitely needs to get better. But I mean, hey, your quarterback's turning the ball over there a little bit, So we gotta fix that. But defensively, I just need to see him get more after it. I asked Coach at times, did he think about going to an out front? When you look at your defensive ends is not getting to the quarterback. All right, let's be real with that. Like, Rousseau's not getting to the quarterback. Bosa's not getting to the quarterback.
Tackles is getting more pressure, really.
So that's why I say maybe go to an out front. Like, you could have stopped the bleeding a little bit more on how Atlanta was running the ball. They was doubling Dion, and at times when Dion got vertical, he would win his battle. But when he just, go for the ride, they was taking where he wanted to go. They was able to cut back and have big chunk run plays in the run game because of that. But if you put another nose, if you bring in Jordan Phillips and put him over the center, now you can't double Deion Walker. If you put him at a true D-Tech, 3-Tech with Ed Oliver on the other side, I'll make Rousseau and Bosa, man, they convert to a 3-4 sometime because they're not getting to the quarterback anyway. So you best off dropping one of those edge guys in zone coverage with that length, and maybe that can buy, our back end some time, with that type of pressure, and our interiors can push the pocket to our pass rushers.
Yeah, I like that perspective though.
Real
I didn't
quick,
think
Steve,
about that on the line. I think that's a good one.
Max Harrison. I wanted to hear your perspective on Max Harrison because it don't sound like you want him to play this year.
Yeah, no, I don't think he should play. I mean, considering the injury, I think it's a wrap for him. Let him strengthen up, let him get better, and come back next year. Only reason I say that because, I mean, look at what happens if he get beat, anything happen to him, you already know they go be talking, and it's like he's at a disadvantage with that leg. I don't know exactly how the injury is or how he's moving, but I've had these knee injuries. And when you rushing back as a cornerback, I mean, come on now, everything is on plan there or anticipating. And yeah, we want to say 4-2, but that's before the injury. You feel me? That's all the instincts, not thinking about that. I mean, it's a wicked game once you come back from an injury like that. And I think this season should be a wrap for him, and he come back next year just a free mind, clearly healthy, and just come back like that. That's my take on Max.
Red shirt.
So what's your take on the weaknesses of the defense overall?
Well, right now I would say with the injuries, the clear thing is injuries. I don't know if Ed Oliver was 100%, but he came back and tried to be a dog and play. You spoke about the 81-yard. I looked back at the film, and yeah, Dion, he was going for the ride, but Oliver was there also to clean up. He was there to dive and go all out, but he threw his arm out, and I was like, okay, that ain't really Ed Oliver energy. And I'm thinking it's probably because he's still injured or something with that foot, so he didn't really sell out. And that ended up leading to an 81-yard thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when it come down to injuries, like the linebacker unit, Terrell Bernard being hurt, that hurts us because Terrell brings a different impact. He's a heat seeker. And when you don't have that guy that's go read and react, now everybody's just, well, I ain't gonna say everybody, most of them are just reading and that's kind of too late. You feel me in the NFL because those blockers are already up to that second level. So yeah, once the injuries get back, the guys get back healthy, mix things up with that D line, like Don Mook is saying. There's still potential out there to be a dominant defense. 18th, yes, but there's always opportunity because they are disciplined. They're always hungry, and like you said, opportunistic. So there's always action there. And Shaq got a little bit of it. He felt it like, oh wow, I could have had my moment. Yeah, don't be discouraged because it's gonna happen again. Stay on the lookout for that. And while we're talking about linebackers, big shout out to Dorian Williams. That dude is a dog since he got his opportunity from special teams last couple of seasons where he was leading the team. I can't wait to see him get his payday because it's overdue, man.
Matt Milano got injured. He came in and did the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely got to shore up stopping the run. They did last just about in giving up to run 156 yards on the ground a game. And then we all know what happens on third down. I mean, the Bills play good defense on first and second just to make it all look easy on third down. Something that, you know, this Bills team has yet to correct in over at least, I could say 2, if not 3 years. You know, this Bills team are not just able to get the quarterback on the ground and the offense off the field on third down. That's just something that Babbage is definitely going to have to correct going into the remainder of the second quarter of the season.
Absolutely, because you can't play off and not get to the quarterback. You know, if you go be spy on the quarterback, you got to play press or get it a little closer on those receivers so that quarterback can think, do I want to throw it to this guy or not? By that time, either the rush might get there or he might make another decision, but that's all the time we need for a quarterback to be overthinking, you know. And when you playing off and you're not getting that rush, then you're playing 7-on-7 in the NFL. You're at a disadvantage, and that's what we've been seeing on third down. Too much of that.
Now, Stevie, you played with one of the best running backs. I mean, you and Fred Jackson, dynamic, right? How important is it to get the star running back the football, and how do you feel about how James Cook has been used?
I feel like it's very important, not for me, but mainly for the quarterback. You know, that's why it's so surprising that he's not being overused, because the running back takes a load off of the quarterback. You know, and when you got a running back like Fred Jackson was great as a receiver, as a blocker, and in between the guard and tackle, all that. James Cook is the same kind. They don't say he's a blocker because he ain't as big as Freddie is, but can he do it? Yes, he can. We've seen him run up the middle. We've seen him catch the ball out the backfield.
Yep.
Just use him more, you know, and that's gonna take a load off of Josh. That's gonna actually give Josh more stats when you get those easy flats, passes to the flats. Who do we see?
Play action.
Yeah, Yaction, big Yaction. And we just take advantage of that. But utilizing him and Khalil, you know, it's like that needs to be number one and high prioritized for that offense, because it's kind of stagnant when you're trying to create these plays.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just want to see him, you know, out there in all types of situations. You know, I want to see him out there on first down. I want to see him on second down. I want to see him, you know, being used on third down, if this is a decoy or, you know, throw a damn screen to him, especially when you got a blitz-hungry team in the Falcons that just kept blitzing you all day. You would figure that, hey, we can dump a screen to the running back or something. You got to keep him out there. You would figure that would happen, right? It hasn't happened. I haven't seen this Brady's offense execute a screen properly since he's been at the helm. When you got a quarterback like Josh Allen, we can't execute a screen with the running back with the weapons that we do have at wide receiver. Creativity in the play calling is definitely key. When you got key players and key pieces and dynamic pieces, such as a James Cook, you got an explosive game breaker, game changer type of back, and he's on the sideline when the game is on the line. He's on the sideline when you're trying to claw back into this game right before halftime. He is on the sideline. When you're trying to win the game and you need a score inside the 20, James Cook is on the sideline. When it's 4th and 5 in the AFC Championship game, James Cook is on the sideline.
Don't say it, Mo. He on the sideline and that. Come on.
You didn't know that he was on the sideline during that game?
I just wanted them to know it, to put some emphasis on it, man. Like, that's crazy. Because people go at me like, he's number 2 in the league. Like, what do you mean they're not using him? What are you looking at? Like, bro, are you not you don't watch the game? That's for the casuals. That's right. The casuals, yeah. Like, dude, this dude can be having probably 1,500 yards or some crazy all-purpose yards right now if we really just used them, you know. And that's no fault because again, coach was taking care of him. That's what he was thinking. So now you don't have to take care of them. We understand players' lifespan in this league is whatever it is. Utilize it until the wheels fall off, man. That's what we want to see as fans and committed Bills Mafia.
Thank you, Stevie Corleone. Thank you.
We'll clip that up and make sure coach is satisfied.
That's just like having Michael Jordan, right? That's just like having Michael Jordan. You mean to tell me in the fourth quarter you're gonna have Michael Jordan on the sideline because you want BJ Armstrong to eat?
Come on now.
Come on, man. What we doing, man?
For me,
did you ask Mike? Did you ask Michael, hey, you need a breather? Like Mike ain't saying no, fam. Like James ain't saying no. Let me cook.
Hey, let him earn his money now. He got his money. Let him earn his money, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let him earn his money, man.
You gotta let him be great.
Back. Let him earn his money. He need to be out there. You want to win the games? Take the pressure off of Josh Allen. Get a ball to James Cook.
Yeah, Cook and I Khalil. You know, Khalil because he's a veteran. He's a seasoned veteran. When I say seasoned, he's been in those same situations that Josh Allen has been in with other receivers. He was around for all of that. He made some of those plays in the rain in Baltimore 2-3 years ago, you know, getting only limited snaps. He's ready for those blitz alerts. So feed him 9-10 times, you know what I'm saying? Then take your shots, you know, kill it underneath with the flats and the backs and underneath game. Then take your shots with those Samuel guys and hopefully Josh Palmer. I don't know how he's doing. You know, him going out was, I mean, another one. Like I expected a lot more from Josh, you know, but you can't put it on a player when you see he's out for 3 quarters and he's still leading the team in receiving yards. So it can't be the players make, you know what I mean? It's come on, Joe. It's on you, my boy.
That's what I was about to say. Like, you look around the league during a bye week, you get to look at teams a little more thoroughly and analyze what you're looking at without worrying about what the Bills are doing. And people running butt naked, wide open. I'm just like, oh my God. You look at the Bills film and defenders are glued to the backs because they run in a 2-yard end. Like, and it's frustrating because like you got James Cook right there, but he's on the sideline and you're in shotgun, which means what? You're not running the ball. So they know you're not running. And it's just like, it's so predictable. And I just don't understand how he doesn't understand that. But
look, the thing is, he does understand it. It's just he's around them so much, and he see how much they do. So he felt sorry for him. You know, he felt sorry for him and wanted to take care of him. So now that the Mafia attacked him and said, "We don't want you to take care of these guys," he's gonna come out of this bye week and he gonna load up on James Cook.
You know what it is? Take care of them.
Right.
But we want to see a Super Bowl caliber offense. That's what we're concerned about.
Man, them boys are not sweating. Like I said, they not even sweating out there in the game. Like they not tired.
They're not on the field enough to sweat,
bro.
We want them to take care of everybody. But it's a time and place to take care of everybody. Just make sure your dogs eat first. Make sure your dogs is nice and full first before you start feeding everybody else. Make sure your dogs is in the field of the floor of the football game before you just start taking them out of rhythm and just giving everybody the ball because you so caught up into that. Are you trying to win the game, or are you just focused on just getting everybody the ball? You got James Cook on a snap count week 6. Like, you know, like what are we doing? Like, are we trying to stack wins, or are we trying to make sure that, you know, X amount of players are just getting proper snaps, you know, at this point in time, you know? So, man, feed your dogs to they full first, you know, and then you can feed everybody else.
All right. So Coach, you got a chance to watch teams around the league today. See some wide receivers, maybe some safeties, maybe some corners. What's your opinion on whether or not the Bills should be making some trades and or signing free agents? Because Justin Simmons, for some reason, is still out there.
I'm gonna let Stevie Corleone answer this question first, because I know the chatter has been all about wide receiver and the trade and stuff like that. So we got one of the best to do it right now. So floor is yours, Mr. Corleone.
My thing is, I would look towards the defensive back area. You know, that's what I would look at. Either a DB or a safety. I don't know. I mean, the name that come to me is, could we try a Stephon Gilmore, bring him back? Do we go get somebody else? I don't know. But that's my thing. I'm looking at the defensive side. Offensive side, again, we have pieces that can do the job. It's just about putting them in the right position for them to do the job and give them more food. The defensive side is where we got to work at. You know, I don't, aside from Taron Johnson, you know, he's the one who played press a bit. But I don't see much other from any other DB. When Dorian Strong went out, I was giving him good credit because first he wasn't as physical, but then he began getting physical and he was growing through that preseason and on to the season. But unfortunately, he got hurt. But you know, that's why I want to see more from Benford. You know, it's on him to step up. You see Trey, he plays press. If I can talk to Trey, I would tell him try not to stay over the top so much. It's kind of impossible to stay over the top of receiver in the NFL, let alone now in college with how these kids are moving in the speed. So you use leverage. If you go let them go outside, understand that you go let them get that step, and then you chase and you be physical and be a savvy vet. But I feel like sometimes he try to stay over top too much, and that get him in situations where he get beat. And then the ball's already in the air, it's hard to recover. But yeah, another DB or a safety that can bring the boom. I would, receiver-wise, I know a lot of people talking about receiver. Okay, let's talk about that. A lot of names was going around. They were saying Rashid Shaheed. I like him. However, who else they was talking about? They got, Chris Olave.
Yep.
Those two guys are good. They speed guys. They can stretch the field. However, I don't think they're alpha enough to demand the ball or to change the offense to say, hey, I need to get the ball right here. You know, instead of waiting for me to run all the way down, get it to me right here, 5-6 yards, and let me do this. You know what I'm saying? We need that kind of mindset and authority.
According to Bills Mafia, that is a locker room cancer.
Which one?
The
person that said that?
And the football, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when that was a locker room cancer, what was happening? Was we talking about people getting separation or going up and down the field?
Oh, no, I'm just telling you what Bills Mafia says.
No, I know, and I'm answering to it because they want everything. We want everything, but we can only have certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't have that alpha receiver because every time is not a bad thing. But let me finish. If we don't have that alpha receiver, then we go through a phase where the coach figure out, I got to do more to get guys open because I don't have nobody out there saying, hey, look, get me on this hitch right here. Or line me up, motion me over here in the meeting room and say, motion me over here. I'm going to shake this guy and I'm going to get this slant right here. That's good to say that. You know what I mean? That's being vocal and helping the offense. What A.J. Brown is saying, he's being vocal and helping the offense. The extra they don't want to see, you know, when he ain't getting the ball. But he's an alpha receiver, you know. We bring a guy like I don't think that'll ever happen, but you bring a guy like that in, then you'll see a change, you know. Now you speak about Keon. We got a guy, Keon Big. Yeah, he can be that, but he's still young, and in the sense of he don't want to like kind of go against the grain with the fan base, with the coaching staff. So he's still trying to grow as a young receiver. That's why I felt like next year was going to be his time. He still got to develop and evolve through situations, way more situations. So yeah, Keon can be that, but it's obvious he can't be that right now. You know, he said one word on social media and he erased it because you know what I mean? There's a lot of pressure going on there. Yeah. Say what you feel. It's whatever, you know, go out and then demand the ball. Hey, Josh, I need you to give me the ball right here or something, this and that on his back shoulder, throw it. Like, I don't know if that communication is going on. I don't know if the coaches is telling him that have those conversations with the quarterback, but that's what you need to build that bond.
Yeah, you got to rep that stuff out. And I think it's some in between the season starting and training camp. It was a gap in training camp and stuff like that. You seen the connection, you saw the chemistry, and then all of a sudden it just went away. It just went away. So that stuff has to get repped out in game. And remember, Josh Allen didn't play a preseason game. You know what I mean? So he really didn't get that game speed connection with Keon Coleman repping those plays out that he was doing in training camp. And then the Bills completely went away from that. You know what I mean? They doing slot play from the slot, but you never did that in training camp or preseason with Keon Coleman. So you see some different things. I mean, especially week 1 when he had 8 catches, 115 yards in the score. I don't see those plays for Keon Coleman. You know what I mean? So in hindsight, as far as the Bills trading for the receiver, you hear Jalen Waddle name being mentioned as well. But one, it comes down to money, right? Let's look at, if you're going to trade for a Chris Olave or Jalen Waddle or Rashid, you got to have money. Right now, Khalil Shakur is getting paid. Right now, Curtis Samuel is getting paid. Right now, Josh Palmer is getting paid. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out who you're going to trade for that's going to match those type of contracts, because those are the trade assets. I don't think Keon Coleman will be a trade asset. I don't would think that the Bills will even consider trading Keon Coleman, because I do believe that they don't need no receivers. They're just not using them properly. You got Elijah Moore, who's not a gadget wide receiver. All right, he's not a gadget wide receiver. Elijah Moore is a Stephon Diggs. He's just shorter. He can get separation, and he has the speed to blow the top off the defense. He's not being used properly. All right. So I just don't understand, as far as the Bills need to trade for a receiver. They have the pieces. They're just not being used right. Like Stevie mentioned, more on the defensive side, the DB, you got Justin Simmons at safety. You got a Gilmore as a savvy vet who can probably play some safety for you, or that big nickel. It would be nice to see him playing that big nickel, because we do know that Gilmore is a physical guy. And some reason about Isaiah Simmons that I don't understand why this guy's not on the football team. It was a top 10 pick coming out of Clemson. He was a safety, 6'4", 245. He can play
hybrid
linebacker, 4.4 speed. I think the Bills can really unlock his potential. For a guy that had a tremendous upside, that 6'4", 245 pounds, running 4.4, he could play linebacker for you. He could play strong safety for you, play big nickel for you, and he could play special teams. So it's some suitable free agents out there I think that the Bills can go after, instead of, trying to, make a splashy trade at this point for a number one wide receiver. I think Brady just got to get more creative in the playbook with the wide receiver weapons that he has.
So you know what? I can appreciate both those perspectives. The way I look at it is the Buffalo Bills defense is not going to win us a Super Bowl. Not this year, at least. The offense is going to have to supplement the defense's production. So if I have the best toy in the world to play with, who wears number 17, if I have a dominant running back in my backfield who wears number 4, if I have a top 5 offensive line, go get me a superstar wide receiver and blow the top off of every defense in the NFL and make them score 40 to beat me. I can appreciate trying to make the defense better but to me, honestly, I got PTSD, but that just says to me 26-29 losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, because Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid always they always pick our defense apart. But you know what it is about our defense? The wide receiver will have 150 yards, the running back will have 150 yards, but they'll only score 24 points.
Right. It's a bend but don't break defense.
Right. If Sean McDermott is so good at limiting points, then go get me a superstar wide receiver, and I'm going to use my superstar quarterback to put points on the board. And then you'll have to beat me with this bend don't break defense, and that's when you unleash the potential of a Joey Bosa. That's when you unleash the potential of a Deion Walker, of a Greg Rousseau, right? Of Ed Oliver, right? And then that's when you get your Terrell Bernards out there going and reading the field and making plays. And that's where the opportunistic interceptions and the fumble recoveries come in, and everybody hyping, everybody screaming, and you get that one song that plays in the fourth quarter. I can't think of it.
Mr.
But the defense already get that still.
No, I agree. Right. But what our problem is now, and so the last 2 games, the defense has played horribly, but I don't put it on the defense, because the offense did not score enough points. Right. So if the offense is going out there and they're putting up maximum production, and Josh Allen is back to his record-breaking self, and I mean, he record breaks every year, but if he's back to his gaudy passing stats, then I think this team is especially this year, where everybody else in the league looks like they're kind of slipping. This will be the year to grab the bull by the horns and take it.
Everybody is going with their dogs, bro. Like everybody's saying, screw it, I'm going with my dogs, and they've been producing. You look at the Giants. They're like, man, we ain't got time to wait. Jackson Dart, get out here, man. Scatterbo, y'all get out here. I'm going with my dogs. That's what I draft y'all.
They did that because that was the last
resort. Making plays, but they're making plays. Like
he's about to lose his job. That's why he put Jackson Dart in.
He's making plays. I drafted him. You better use him. You drafted him.
I agree. He's gonna use him in the second half of KC.
Well, you see the turnaround. You see how the team is playing now.
Yeah, they
won like that. In the second half. But the Bills have been scoring 30 points sloppily.
Right.
If you give James Cook the ball more, if you stick with your dogs a little bit more, make the other team one-dimensional, then Bosa and Rousseau can just pin their ears back, and they don't have to worry about stopping the run because you have to throw the ball to get back in the ball game.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you a question.
One-dimensional offensively by scoring points.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Joe Brady has the capacity to make a Spagnuolo defense, to put a Spagnuolo defense in that position in the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
You do?
He just can't be predictable like he was on 4.
But he's always predictable. I have zero
element of surprise with Joe Brady. What you see is what you get.
Spagnuolo outperforms him every time they go up against.
Well, Spagnuolo is a Super Bowl.
Exactly. We're trying to win a Super Bowl.
And this is what we're talking about, the experience. He's getting out coached by these seasoned defensive coordinators that are now head coaches. When you look at Raheem Morris, he's been a head coach twice. He's been an all-star defensive coordinator. This is what Brady is going up against. He went up against New England with Vrabel, hell of a football coach. Josh McDaniels been a head coach. Doug Baloney, who was a damn head coach here in Buffalo, is now on the O-line in New England. So they're running up against veteran guys and they're getting out coached. Basically, that's what it is.
That lends to my point.
It doesn't help, and it doesn't help to know that you being a play caller and an offensive coordinator, your quarterback has more experience than the offensive coordinator. Josh Allen been in this league for 7-8 years. Joe Brady's only been a play caller for 2 years. How does he help Josh Allen in those situations? That's something that's the growing pain that Brady is facing with right now.
I don't trust Joe Brady. If I have to worry about Joe Brady being washed by Raheem Morris or Spagnuolo or whoever else, or Mike Vrabel, right? These are undoubtedly these are great coaches. I'm not taking anything away from them. But what I'm saying is, if Joe Brady can't scheme to get his guys open, you know who Raheem Morris and Mike Vrabel and Spagnuolo can't stop? AJ Brown. Go get me a superstar.
Yeah,
the Bills are not throwing the ball down the field for us to even see.
Because they don't have AJ Brown.
They're not even throwing the ball to see what our receivers could do down the field before we start saying we need to go get more.
No, but we're all in agreement. I don't trust Joe Brady to be able to experiment with it, is what I'm saying.
He has to.
Yeah, he has to. He has to. And it's not even hard though, bro. It's all he got to do is mix up the formations and still run a stick concept, the spacers. He said it in the interview, like everybody's running the same thing. All you got to do is mix up the formation and how you run it. You know, that's it.
Yet this season.
Yeah, well, hey, we are on to Carolina this week, and we all know that Coach McDermott is flawless coming off a bye week, undefeated, and to make it more ironic, he goes back to Carolina, basically where he comes from. So uncharted waters, Carolina is riding kind of high, and I'm quite sure they're going to have a lot of confidence to know that, the Bills just lost to a team that they just beat by 30. And so, gentlemen, what are your thoughts heading into Carolina week?
Yeah, I'll start it off. I know for sure I was assuming it was going to be a blowout in the beginning of this season. But with them Carolina boys going on this win streak and seeing that it's going to be a lot of Bills Mafia out there in Carolina, it's going to be a fun game. I think a lot of people going to be glued in to see what happens. Just like you said, Don Mook, Carolina just blew out Atlanta, and Atlanta just shut our doors on prime time. So this is just geared up to be a great game. Justus, how you feel about it?
I'm gonna be real and petrified.
We don't want to take the L against them.
Yo, listen, man. Yo,
hey,
you know
he ain't gonna let us live it down, huh?
No, absolutely not. When we lost to New England, they played amazing. So it was an easy pill to swallow, right? It was like Stephon Diggs went crazy. Drake May looked amazing. We had 3 turnovers, umpteen penalties. We played horrible and we lost. I was like, all right, I can accept that. And by 3, we got dog walked by Atlanta. They came in and punched us right in the grill, right? Scared the crap out of me, right? So now I'm looking at Carolina. I'm looking at Rico Dowdle losing his mind every week. I'm looking at Ted McMillan, who's a good receiver. I'm looking at all the weapons that they have, and Bryce Young is a young quarterback who's starting to figure it out. And the Bills defense is the perfect defense if you need to figure something out to figure it out. So I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie. What I'm more so hoping is that Joe Brady will quit with all this trying to get everybody involved stuff, and just go out there and let your freak be a freak and just put up as many points as you possibly can. I don't care about saving people for the playoffs. I don't care about showing people what you're going to do. I just score points, man. Score points.
Yeah, I'm happy that the Bills took these losses. Potentially, it's a wake-up call for them because let's say Josh was great and made those comebacks. A defense might not switch up and have Benford locking up. If Benford did do well against Drake London, he wouldn't make these adjustments that we need going forward for this team to be better. So, and then we got to take into account we have guys coming back. So I'm looking forward to seeing the boy Michael Hoyt come back. He's a Canadian boy, so I know he's going to have pride playing out there. And that's what I'm looking forward to see come back to add to that line.
Ogunjobi too. What about you, Coach? What you looking forward to in Carolina?
Well, I'm just looking for the Bills to come out and play with some urgency and be aggressive on both sides. Like, this offense have not been aggressive. When this offense is aggressive, they are one of the best teams in the NFL. When they come out aggressive and playing with urgency, it's just too much nonchalant, lackadaisicalness, and to think that, oh, this is the Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills team and everybody eats over here. And what that's doing is putting a target on this team's back. And right now, this team needs to understand how to play when being the hunted. It's different when you're going to hunt and you're the underdog, you trying to be that guy. But when you're the hunted, it's a different type of mentality. It's a different type of way you're going to have to approach the game. You're getting the team's best every single week. A team ain't won a game, but they know this Buffalo Bills team is coming in here. They're the benchmark, and if we can give them our best shot, hang in there with them for 4 quarters, you never know what could happen. And that's what's happening in these past 2 games. And it's too much lackadaisicalness. It's too much spreading the ball around, and they don't know how to play when being the hunted. And going into this matchup, Bills are a 7.5-point favorite right now today. And again, the Bills give up 156 yards on the ground. The past 3 games, Rico Dowdle has been averaging 156 yards a game. So you don't want to get out to Carolina and then, they're doing what they do best. And you know that Bryce Young, he barely throws over 200 yards, and all of a sudden he's just going to have a career day versus this Buffalo Bills team because now they can't stop the run, and then all of a sudden Ted McMillan and XL is having career days in the passing game because we can't stop the run game. You want to talk about biggest fear, and if that happens in Carolina on Sunday and the Bills lose for the first time with Coach McDermott coming off a bye week in Carolina. Whew. Is this mic hot?
Somebody get fired. Somebody get fired.
They better come out and play with some urgency.
I didn't see it losing to Atlanta happening either. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And man, they better come and punch Carolina in the mouth because Carolina is right now, man. They on the sky high. They just beat the Jets, and man, they creating turnovers. They get into the quarterback. So they're going to come with a lot of confidence, and they're at home right now. And this Buffalo Bills team do not scare nobody. They're not intimidating, right? When you're a Super Bowl caliber team, you're supposed to intimidate people when you walk up in the building. Teams know that they don't have a rat's ass chance of beating you when you come on the field. But right now, they're not. Nobody's afraid of them. They're not intimidating anybody, and it's showing. And then the play calling don't reflect it at all. You know what I mean? So they got to fix that. And if they don't fix that, whew.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
We're not in attack mode, brother. Like that play calling, it confused me because we knew that the Falcons are a blitz team, and we tried to drop back faster. You know, like that didn't make no sense. You got to get ahead of the sticks, get it out early, like you said. Them quick pass, quick game, let the playmakers try to break a tackle, and then, you know, get some momentum, get hyped, get that feeling. I mean, guys had 3 catches total. That's not enough in the league like this. That just shows it's too much holding the ball and drop back and trying to read stuff. You can't do that. Get the ball out and let the boys be boys.
We got score predictions for the next week. We want.
Yeah, 17. I think we gonna go 31-17. They might get 17. I don't even know if they'll get 17 on Bills. I'm telling you, Bills, they got slapped in the mouth the past 2 weeks. Diggs went crazy, 160. Drake London, the only freaking receiver that got passing yards. Those DBs will wake up and they go clamp up on these Carolina Panthers.
All right, man. You giving me a little bit of hope. I don't like making Bills predictions because I remember we started winning, and then I started making predictions and we started losing. So then I was like, you know, I'm a little stitious. So I'll stay away from the predictions. But I'll go with I'll say Bills 27, Panthers 21. What you got for us, Coach? I'm gonna keep it helpful.
I thought that was the ghost of Brady that clicked my mic off like poltergeist or something, but I don't know. I mean, I'm right now the Bills are 7.5-point favorites. They just got to come out. I don't think Carolina has enough firepower offensively to win a shootout. So the Bills need to come out to be aggressive offensively. They scored 30 against Atlanta. I don't think that they can score 30 against this Bills team. I don't think they could. But
yeah, and they got to think Bryce Young, he came from a system where you get the ball out fast. So when you go up against a blitzing team, you get the ball out fast. He was in his element. And that's why they put up 30 points and they smashed that team because they couldn't stop them. If you watched the game. And that's the exact thing that the Bills didn't do. They went the opposite route and tried to hold the ball longer and let plays develop and routes develop as opposed to getting it out quick. So
7 people going at the quarterback.
Yeah.
So shut down a run and see if Bryce Young can beat you with his arm. And I don't think that Bryce Young can beat this Buffalo Bills defense with his arm. So I'll say the Bills do get back on track. Take care of business in Carolina. I can't give you a score right now, but I do see the Bills getting things back on track and winning this game.
Yeah, I wanted to go that route too. I didn't want to give a score either. Right, fair enough. All right, Mr. Stevie Johnson, handle business, have fun. I know you always get into it, bro. What you got cooking? I mean, you got books. I mean, you in everything, bro. What you got cooking up right now?
Actually, I'll be in Buffalo in a Saberhood in October 28th. So, if anybody out there during the time and when they come to the hockey game, bring y'all football jerseys, anybody's jersey. And if y'all run into me, don't hesitate to ask for a signature on it or take a picture or whatnot. That's what we there for. So that's my next activation is rolling to the Saberhood and checking out the Sabres on Bills night.
October 28th. What you gonna be following?
I don't know. We got to hit the store and create something. We actually watching movies right now. The fam about to watch a movie right now. We just got finished watching the movie, so we got to still get our costumes together. Though. I don't know yet who we gonna be.
Game plan for Halloween.
Yeah. Game plan.
Now, game planning for Halloween still. They still game planning.
Yeah. Still game planning for. I actually just seen this creation that this guy did. It's like a DIY where he had like his body out, but you got to make the cut some kind of way. It looked pretty cool. I was thinking about trying that. It was going in my head, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. But we do want to tell our fan base here that we do got some exciting things to announce pretty soon. With Stevie and we got Mike Florio. I know Bills Mafia is gonna be really excited to have Mike Florio on, the fan base. So, we'll let you know, in the coming weeks on what that's going to look like. So definitely be on the lookout for that BFBN and, Saturday Night Tailgate and Sick Podcast with Stevie Corleone and Mike Florida and, the General.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to, shout out to Handle Business, Have Fun. Shout out to Buffalo FAMBase. Tell Rich I said what's up. Hey, for everybody here at Buffalo FAMBase, you guys know we appreciate all the love and support you guys give us. Every like, comment, retweet,
Yes.
repost, all the love, subscriptions. Please continue. Follow us at Buffalo FAMBase and make sure you hit that hashtag BFBN. And we're gonna get to it, y'all. Have a good night and go Bills.
Third, go Bills.